the prosecutor, there was an understanding that in certain high crime areas, the police are allowed to pursue a suspect, and that invitation apparently was used in this case. Because the suspect or this person was running, it wasn't the suspect of anything, but because he was running, they had license to pursue him. But when we heard from the prosecutor yesterday, it seems as though that permission was denied. She says there was no probable cause and there was no reason, and he had not been unlawful. The knife that he had was within regulation. So does this mean that I guess federal allowance is not used in a city like Baltimore?
Well, let's break it down. When the federal government speaks, Frederica, and the Supreme Court in particular speak, they speak for the country. And the Supreme Court has said, to be fair, if you're in a high crime area, Supreme Court case, it's not indicative of criminality, but it could be suggestive of it. So says the Supreme Court. So that gives, and let's talk about two things. That gives reasonable suspicion in order to approach and potentially pat frisk someone. It doesn't give probable cause for arrest. That could escalate later depending upon the encounter. And there's various encounters when you engage with someone in terms of escalating, the type of force that you could use or the type of detention. So that's going to be very important. And of course, defense attorneys will argue just that. They made eye contact. He engaged in nervous movements. He ran. And the prosecution will say, so what? That's not indicative of any criminality. That's not suggestive of a crime. That's not doing anything wrong. And the defense attorneys, Frederica, will point to the Supreme Court case. And they'll say, hey, there's a case that says we can chase them, we can detain them, we can search them. But very briefly, in terms of the timeline and the gaps, what the prosecutors are going to use that for is to show they checked on him, they had knowledge that he was in distress, and they willfully failed to provide aid. And that goes to the issue of criminality. And so that's how prosecutors are going to use that to buttress their case against the officer.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Joey Jackson. Cheryl Dorsey. We'll talk with you again later on this afternoon. We're going to have